pretty good. Look at this. Is that a good start?
Get that out of here.
It's home area. And why not show them all what you can do and what you're missing in this state? Craig Martin's home. Beautiful story there. Nice. I remember you in your heyday. Could you bring it with this a vengeance? Leave the chandeliers, big fella. Boy, that is strong. Can you relate?
Yeah, look at this. Oh, man, almost like he did it on purpose.
He wants to show the home folks. He can elevate now.
Lost the ball.
Look at the speed of this kid. Look at that.
Behind the back. Into the hole for two.
Woo! Quick timeout.
The basket.
What do you think, big fella?
He is very special right there. Almost fell down. Concentration to finish. Zion Williamson putting on a show for his hometown here. Wow. Fantastic.
Nice entry. Goodness. About this. There's no S on the shirt. There may be one day, though. Bang! Look at this. With authority. You call it the floppy. A little post up and whatnot. Finish with a palm.
R.J. Barrett.
Cross screen and attack and drive. Barrett, so good at getting to the basket, showing some emotion right there.
Out here. Barrett.
Oh! Little showtime right now.
I love this play right here. Barrett gets out. Look at who's celebrating his play. Zion's trailing. Look at that. It's pretty explosive right there himself.
Got to watch your head. Got to go inside now with this lineup, I think. Some sort of attack or post up. Wow, look at this guy.
The top leaper, able to pull it down. And Zion ties the game at 34.
Zion's like, just throw it up there. Look at that.
Well, that's almost on top of the glass. Goodness, that is amazing. You can wasting a lot of time. You end up sending.
Williamson driving in on Taco. And that's going to make the fall as the basket goes.
Team on your shoulder. Big time delivery. How about those onions, Grant? Woo!
This was a one-on-one in the end with two guys with 4 fouls.
It wasn't a dunk on Taco, but the message delivered.
And it was his 5th.
Tell you, this guy right here all night when his team has needed him.
A free throw to tie it. 5 out of 6 at the line. Missed it. Comes up short, too. Barrett follows it up for the lead.
And then
with 11 seconds. Here we go. Inbound out to Taylor. Jones is on him. Taylor driving. Driving in. Banks it up. No. Put back. In and out. And Duke survives. Just barely.
Shot off the back of the iron. And it's Cousins ahead to Allen. Nobody got back, and Allen flushes it.
Yogi. Bagley. And Marvin now.
Barry Parker. Parker splits defenders in control. I told you he's.
Magic are coming off of a much-needed win as a feed to Emile Jefferson. He didn't waste any time at all. Up he goes. 2-2 on a 4-game road trip. There's a left-wing jump.
De'Aaron Fox figuring out the NBA now in his second year.
Marvin. Jeff Green, or rather Bobby Portis picks it up. Portis streaks in, bounces, and Parker dunks the ball.
Leaked out to Petroselli, to Jefferson.
What's going on, Jeeves and Dudettes? So, yes, as you saw right there, Duke did get their first 2 wins of the tournament. So now they are in the Sweet 16. It was a pretty close game for at least up until halftime, but then after that, Duke went up by over 30 points to North Dakota State. It's kind of obvious. They played them very well, but they just didn't have enough in the tank to be able to compete with a team like Duke. So, good job on them. Then also Duke, during that game, they set a few records. And also, even I think before that game, R.J. Barrett was named a National Player of the Year before that. But then there was also the first time in that game where both 2 freshmen on the same team scored over 25 points. And of course, that was R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson. So that's good on them. And then in the very next game, to get us to the Sweet 16, it of course had to come down to the wire because such a weird matchup. And in college, the main center guys could actually stay in the paint and not get a 3-second call. And of course, this guy had to be 7'6" and gigantic. And yeah, they did get him into foul trouble pretty early, but they didn't really take advantage of that at all. They didn't even go up by more than 10 points at some point during that second half when he was out. Taco fall, but Zion Williamson, as you saw, did get that and one and missed the free throw to tie it up, but then RJ Barrett got the rebound, hit it in, and the UCF Knights had a couple chances at the very end to get it in there, but luckily it did not go in. Kind of like the same fate that Kansas was able to advance when Duke's Grayson Allen missed the shot last year, even though it rolled in and around a lot more of the rim, but still 2 shots is still just even crazier to see. Luckily I was able to see that live, but still, yeah, it's win's a win, able to advance, and now they get Virginia Tech, who they're pretty normalized with. They play them in the conference, the same conference together. And also, I know Virginia Tech did win the very last game by like 5 points or something like that, but that was without Zion Williamson, so hopefully it is different. But they are still a pretty good defensive team, so it should be very interesting end of this week coming up to check that out. And of course, all 3 of the Duke players were in that very recently mock draft. Zion was number 1, RJ was number 2, and Cam Reddish was number 6. I think he's probably still gonna continue to slip. He hasn't really been the type of player he could be, unless he needs more space and more ability to run off of screens in the NBA. I don't know why Duke doesn't do that for him, but maybe he will translate better into the NBA. But the guy they had, Romeo Langford out of Indiana, the freshman, to go to the Lakers at number 10, really don't like as much. I prefer if it were, of course, a North Carolina guy, Kobe White, but just because I know how good he is and he's able to beat Duke twice this year basically himself, so prefer that guy over him, but still a long ways away, and I'll get to the Lakers' playoff chances in a moment.
Here comes LeBron, and he blocks it! LeBron blocks D'Angelo! Sized him up and denied!
As he chases down D'Angelo, waits until he sees it, and then just
down the middle. Good feed to LeBron! Now Kuzma will attack! Look out below!
Well, the Lakers got to coach according to their talent, not according to what they want to do.
LBJ down the middle to throw it down.
Talking about opening up the gate. Gee, right down the pike for the first flush for the Lakers.
Bounce to Lance!
Sore toe, I guess not.
Good pass, and LeBron finishes. KCP, nice one.
Again, no communications defensively. 2 guys go after one. That leaves somebody open.
Lakers lead it by 15. Blocked by JaVale. Here comes the Lakers break. Rondo, middleman, bounce, Kuzma, finish. Beautiful transition for the Lakers. Another rebound.
As I've said, alters can be better than blocks.
Caruso, reverse layup, and what a pass.
Oh, that was a beautiful bounce pass.
So the Lakers, yes, were eliminated last Friday by D'Angelo Russell, one of their number 2 overall picks, but they did win against Sacramento. So that was at least somewhat nice to see, even though I think Sacramento's a better team. Probably going to make the playoffs this year. But they did not re-sign Andre Ingram, who's been a Laker favorite, to a 10-day contract, but they did sign Machado from their G League team to a 10-day contract just to see what they got, see what's in there. Because he was doing pretty good the week before they signed him, so I don't even know how much he played in the game last night, so probably wasn't that much of a difference. And then they're saying that Jason Kidd could be a replacement for Luke Walton in a lot of reports, but I don't know, if it were up to me, I'd still go with a Mark Jackson first, then maybe a Jason Kidd, and then if you had to really ask me, I still wouldn't get Tyronn Lue, but you already know that's where everything's headed towards, and it's gonna suck, but I guess that's what we have to deal with when LeBron's on your team. But then, with other news, they did mention about Lonzo Ball's shoes. They're asking him if he could actually switch out of his trademark signature Triple B shoes because That might be the cause of it, a lot of his ankle injuries the first 2 years in the NBA. And it seems like he is going to take out that whole company anyways and go with somebody else. So hopefully that can solve one issue on him, but we'll see how that goes. You just never know. And they're asking about future Lakers, who would be better, and if it would be like a Jimmy Butler or can a Kemba Walker be a new Kyrie Irving? I think so, just because he's more of like a shooting guard type of person, both those guys, so they can create by themselves even while LeBron's out. So either of those guys will be good, just as long as you don't overpay them, in my opinion. As far as USC football goes, there was a little bit of positive news over the weekend. On Saturday, they did get a 4-star wide receiver to commit, and Joshua Jackson, who's based out of California, so that's cool. At least they're going after some pretty talented guys. Maybe not the 5-star level guys, but at least guys who are still going to work and are still very talented on their own. Then a few injuries had happened during spring practices so far. Redshirt, I don't think he could be a redshirt freshman anymore because he played too many times, but Talanoa Hufanga, probably going to be going into his sophomore year. He re-injured the same type of collarbone, they think, so they're most likely going to keep him out of the rest of the spring practices, but hopefully it's nothing too serious where he has to get surgery again and miss the whole year. It's going to suck because he's been a really good player even for how young he is, but sending positive vibes towards him. And also to Trevor Trout, a defensive tackle for USC, who's very young too. I believe he had a red shirt last year because of another injury, but he did, he tore his bicep, so he is going to be out at least for the spring that they know, and he should be healthy enough to come back when the regular season starts in the end of the summer. So that's at least somewhat good news, but also sending positive vibes over there so nothing bad else happens to him. And then another young guy, Keenan Christensen, I believe his name is, a running back coming in for USC this summer from high school. He set one of his personal records in the 100-meter dash. So obviously they got a guy who could play football very well, but who's also very fast. A lot of times USC doesn't really get these very, very fast, speedy guys, but at least they got one of them and a very young guy. So hopefully he can make his way up into get some playing time as well. You never know. And maybe just saving him and making sure he gets even faster for when he gets back onto the field. But then there was also USC Pro Day on Wednesday this last week, so a lot of guys going out there, and they're saying that even like an Imam Marshall or a I can't believe I forgot his name. Let me guess, the middle linebacker. Let me look real quick. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but yes, one of the main middle linebackers who was a senior, Porter Gustin as well. Toa Lobadan did really good in the bench pressing. So hopefully he can continue to be better as maybe a guard, in my opinion, instead of trying to play center, which he really struggled when it came to snapping the ball, which is basically the main job of a center. But they did it all really good, and they definitely rose up their draft stock, so they could get drafted even higher than what they're saying, which is really good in my opinion. Maybe the Chargers select one of them. Hopefully it's some of the better defensive players, and if not, then it's okay. We can just let them be on the practice squad if they don't get drafted, but we'll see how that goes. Chargers always make some weird opinions going into the draft process. But then they also did hire for the USC campus the main president in Carol Folt, who's actually really big right now and popular because she basically turned over the North Carolina situation that they had over there where students were cheating and paying other people to take tests for them and all this stuff and not taking real classes that they're supposed to be taking while they were there. And she basically turned that around, and now they're going positive over there, but luckily USC was able to hire her, and hopefully she can get us through whatever crappy times that keep popping up for USC, get them all out of the way and get us back to going on the positive again. But it's a big hope. Kind of glad she's with us now, and hopefully it's more positive days for USC in the future. So the Chargers did re-sign Jeremy Davis. Pretty sure it's still a 1-year deal. That's what they've been doing to a lot of guys who really just on the practice squad or could barely even make the 53-man roster. So it's not that much big of a signing. Kind of wish they would spend a little bit more money on some guys, but that's just a Charger way. And yeah, they do get some wins, but a lot of times the reason why you end up getting clipped up towards the end. So that's just my opinion. And then also Will Greer, who's a top quarterback coming out of college that I've been pretty high on, out of West Virginia. He did have a really good pro day out over there in Morgantown. And of course the Chargers were there to witness it. So that's at least some good news. It just sucks that now he's going to be an even earlier riser in the draft, which sucks. But I know a new Bleacher Report mock draft came out today, and he was in the 3rd round and still selected behind the Chargers' 3rd round pick. So they're giving you basically 3 chances to pick him in their heads. So, and of course they didn't give him to the Chargers. They gave like some Boise State quarterback in the 3rd round, which I don't agree on, especially if Will Greer is there. I don't care about him being just barely over 6 feet. I think there's something in that kid that will allow him to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. A little bit of USC basketball news. So during the week as well, they did pick up a commit from Ethan Anderson for next year, the USC basketball team. But it kind of was surprising. I'm like, man, there's already like 4 guys coming into the USC basketball program next year. But I kind of found out why he decided to commit, because both forwards Jerron Brooks and Victor Yu are both looking to transfer out of USC basketball. So now there's obviously more spots, and I'm pretty sure that's why they could bring in 5 guys like that in 1 year. So, I mean, it's interesting. The other 2 guys were barely getting any playing time. Brooks was starting to come on a little bit, but still was never good enough to start, I guess, in the coach's eyes. So that's why he's going to look to transfer, as did Jordan Usher did earlier in the year. But that's just how it goes. And you see right there a lot of the awards that the California kids, especially a lot of those guys, picked up in the state of California for their basketball while in high school. So that's really cool for them. And they had mentioned since USC didn't make any type of tournament late thing at all this year, they're asking if Benny Boatwright has a chance to be drafted. I know the last 2 years he did have a chance at least to get 2nd round, maybe late 1st round, just based on his talent, but with 2 type of injuries, especially one that kept him out almost a full year. Kind of don't know if he's going to go undrafted or very late in the 2nd round, but I think he could be a steal as long as you allow him to develop a little bit more his 3-point shot, because he's not going to be a very athletic guy, but he does have size, so he could help defend as well. But that's just my opinion, of course. Always got to pull for the USC or Duke guys, no matter how good or bad they are, or the lack of, athletic abilities that they don't have either. And yes, somehow the Anaheim Ducks got a win this last week. Pretty crazy. They did lose, I want to say the other day, I don't know if it was yesterday, against the Kings in a shootout, which just sucks when you lose to a rival, especially like that. But that was almost close to another win. But like I say, hopefully that helps in the draft to get him a better player. And then, of course, some weird random news. I usually don't talk baseball, but because it affects the whole LA market and Southern California, kind of happy that a guy like Mike Trout, who's pretty much considered one of the better players the past few years, is going to stick with the Angels for his whole entire playing career, basically, because his 12-year contract doesn't really start until after 2 more years that are left on his deal. So he's going to be basically like 38, almost 40 by the time that's all up. So he'll definitely be an Angel for life unless he wants to be traded way later in his career, which hopefully that doesn't happen. Just glad we're able to keep a star like that around. Maybe somewhat of a reason to go watch an Angels game. Really don't have any reasons to do that anymore, but as of right now, just because to go see a talented player, you might as well just go see him at least once or twice before finally hangs it up. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think, and have a great rest of your day.